Hi guys, my name is Dr. Unique. I am a Nigerian trained medical doctor currently practicing in the UK. Today, we'll be talking about a topic I titled USLME, the current trend and current information that has made this exam easier than it used to be. Actually, USLME what is the meaning of USLME? Let's start from there. USLME means United States Medical Licensing Exam. It's an exam that medical doctors from international medical graduates can actually write to enable them what get matched into residency in the United States. Is this a topic you would love to hear from? Then stay tuned to this channel. Let's take this break. All right, you're welcome back. So, United States Medical Licensing Exam (USLME) have three steps. The three steps are the step one, the step two, and the step three. In fact, before we proceed in this video, I want to say a very big thank you to Onyeka. Onyeka is just like this person that sponsored this particular video. He took his time, and sent me a message and directed me because Dr. Onyeka is currently in the United States. So he took his time, made a lot of researches from the experience he has also had, and share his experiences, which is what is making this video another different one, not just what was researched on the book. So previously and even now, USLME have three step. You have the step one, the step two, and step three. Now, the step one is usually an exam that tests your basic understanding of medicine. You remember all those our preclinical stuff, biochemistry, embryology, physiology, and anatomy, pharmacology. The basic medicine itself is what the step one is testing. Usually, before the pressure of USLME was actually heaped up at step one. Why? Because competition during residency depends on the score you have in your step one. So what happens is then if you have 194 and it's still a pass mark, and you have 220, which is still a pass mark, during matching, the person who has a higher mark like 220 will first be considered for residency before what? Before you that had maybe 190 something. So this place a lot of pressure because even if you had passed the exam, you'll be pressured to maybe want to write that exam again. So just you can get the information. So you can get maybe the score that will make you to a kind of stand better chance to compete with other of your peers. But guess what? Here is the good news. Currently, the step one is now done as a pass or fail exam. It's no longer done as an exam that maybe even if you pass, it will not be considered what is the score that you use in passing the exam. Is that not a good news? It's a good news. So that brings out pressure from step one. But before we move ahead with this video, I want you to know something. One special thing about USLME is that in USLME, you do not need to maybe do step one before you do step two. And step two has step 2 CS and step 2 CK. You must not do step 2 this before you must not do this step before you do that step. Meaning that you could start from anywhere of your convenience after understanding the exam. And that is a very good second good news. So the first good news is that pressure has been moved from step 1 because it's now a pass or fail exam. Currently, if you pass, you pass. If you fail, you fail. During the matching stage, nobody considers, oh, how did you pass? Was it low score or was it a high score? So this is one of the things that should encourage you to go ahead and do your USLME. Is no longer how it used to be. Now, the second thing that will encourage you is this. Now, step 2 has step 2 CS and step 2 CK. Now, the step 2 CS is clinical skills. Just that word clinical skill. That word CS means clinical skill. What this CS test is, your clinical ability. But now, here is another good news. Due to COVID-19, step 2 CS was replaced with OET. And OET, like I've told you in one of my previous videos, which I can drop the link here, is an easy exam that you could prepare and pass it. And if you pass OET, just know that you are already at a kind of a step ahead those that are already preparing USLME. So OET is now considered as a valid result to present for your step 2 CS. So you now have only step 2 CK to worry about, but you don't still need to worry about this exam. Do you know something that is still very enticing about step 2 CK is that it's more of clinical exam, something you can do. Like you can be given clinical feature of hemochromatosis or any of this medical condition, and you are asked to, make the diagnosis. So it's something you can do. It's much easier than the step 1, which is mainly basics that you've forgotten. Why step 1 seems to be more difficult than step 2 CK is because in step 1, you are being tested for your basics. You're being tested for the things you've forgotten. Remember when you did, I remember that I did anatomy and physiology almost how many years ago? Remember those were the things we first did in our 300 level, 200 level. So it's quite far back. So this is what makes that exam a bit challenging. But it is still something that if you take, advantage of the materials out there, materials like first aid, U-boat, and some other materials that Dr. Onyeka is willing to share with you if you are interested, you could still rock your step 1 and still have success in it. So after you've passed your step 2, maybe your OET, and you've done your CK, the good news is that you will go ahead and get your United States license. When you get this United States license, whether you've done your step 3 or you've not done your step 3, you can start applying for what residency. And look at the good news here. The good news is that you don't need to complete step 3. Some people write step 3 exam while they are already doing residency. So unlike the information I even had about USLME, I didn't have this current information that I'm sharing with you. So you could actually start applying for residency even before you do your step 3. However, it has been proven that most people that have maybe step 3 before applying for residency may have higher chances of securing residency slot. So what are you waiting for? If US is the dream country that you want to go, I want you to know that unlike the way people make it sound, it's no longer that difficult. A whole lot of changes have been made in that exam and there is room for you. However, there is something I want you to know. There is this challenge that you have with USLME. I don't like my videos to be too long, so it's already getting long. The challenge of USLME is finance, being that you're going to be spending in dollars. If you are a Nigerian trained medical doctor like me and you are doing a medical officer job in Nigeria, it may be difficult for you to approve money. But if you have a whole lot of savings that you could use for this exam, I want you to know that it is something very doable. Onyeka in his word said it, and I know that it is doable, that this exam is very doable. So many people have done it, and so many people are outside United States has actually gotten residency in United States by writing USLME. Now there are things that increases your chances because you hear that one of the discouraging factors, like me, one of the things that discouraged me when I wanted to do USLME is that someone told me that even when you finish writing this USLME, to get residency is still a problem. Now, I want to give you the secret. The secret is this. For some of us that are already working in Saudi Arabia, take your vacation and apply to go and spend your vacation in the US. Spend it and go back. If you visited US before, you have higher chances to, when you apply for visa to go for clinical observership, you have higher chances of being granted that opportunity. So take your time if you have the money, especially for some of us that are already settled in Saudi Arabia and some other countries that they are seeing a lot of enough money that could afford these things for them. Take that advantage and do and go and visit the United States of America and add it to your, to your portfolio that you visited the United States of America, you applied for a visa, visited and left. And then, because one of the things that improves your chances of getting residency very easily is doing clinical observership. What does this mean? Actually, unlike the UK here, most healthcare in US are private. Okay, that's why sometimes it's very difficult to get a kind of an insurance, a health insurance in the United States of America, because most of it is a kind of a privatized. Most healthcare there are privatized. So because of that, nobody wants to employ an international medical graduate, no matter how intelligent he or she might be, that haven't had experience on how to deal with US patients. Because if you don't have experience on how to deal with US patients, you could chase their patient for them and they will lose their patient. So I want you to know that it is something that is very doable. It is important that one of the things that can reduce your time getting, because of one of the things that can improve, that can make you to get residency quite quickly and reduce your waiting time is if you do clinical observership in the US. I want you to know something. One thing I've noticed with abroad journey is that once you are determined, you can do it. If US becomes your home, I want you to know. Yes, I know I was speaking with one of our colleagues yesterday. He was telling me that he had heard a whole lot about UK, about task, about all that. Yes, we're going to still talk about UK versus PLA, and I'm still going to talk about address some of those issues, concerns people have about coming into the UK. But I want you to know that if US is your dream country, it's something that is very doable. I don't know if this video has been useful. If this video has been useful, do well to like this video, comment on this video, ask your questions. Do well to also do what? To share this video. Subscribe if you have not subscribed, so you can what? Receive every video that we've released. Thank you very much for